I was no longer pushing people so hard.
And say, yes, that's us. That is the problem we're struggling with.
So I would sit down with the prospect. This is after setting expectations for the meeting and our process, getting to know the prospect, fact finding. Before we wrapped up the meeting, I would take a few minutes to talk about what I believe. And it would sound something like this. Most companies we work with, what they're trying to do is build a great health insurance plan without breaking the bank. They're trying to build the best health insurance plan they can. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Now, I call that my no shit comment, my no shit moment. Like, who is not going to agree with that? Yes, Andy, we would love to build a great health plan without breaking the bank. No one's going to say, no, Andy, not interested. We don't want a good health plan. We actually want to spend as much as we possibly can. Said no one ever, right? So I kick it off, just simple. Here's what companies we work with typically want. Then I talk about the problem. The problem is they have not been able to control their health insurance costs for years. Now, that wasn't where the gold lied. The gold lied in what I came out of my mouth next. Let me tell you why this is happening. Now, at this moment, I'm about to share what I believe. I'm about to share what I stand for. This is where that prospect's going to agree or disagree with me. So I would say, there are 3 reasons why it has been so hard for you to control your health insurance costs. Number 1, health insurance companies, their goals are not aligned with yours. Why? Well, back in 2010, when the Affordable Care Act was rolled out, along with it came a rule known as the medical loss ratio rule. And it said for every dollar a health insurance carrier brings in, it has to spend a certain percentage of those dollars on claims. If it spends anything less, it has to give money back to its client. Now, you may have gotten a check back from the carrier years ago, right? You're not anymore. Why? They stopped caring about controlling your claims. Otherwise, they'd have to give money back. And the fact is, we know carriers are doing pretty dang well these days. Why do we know that? And then I would show their stock price performance, right? For example, Anthem, their stock price, March 23rd, 2010, the day the Affordable Care Act rolled out, was right around $36. Today, it's just shy or north now, I'm not quite sure, of $500 a share. They're doing just fine. Second problem, the healthcare system's goals are not aligned with yours. How do we know? Well, price and quality in the healthcare system are all over the map. Price does not equal quality. Just because something costs a lot in the healthcare system does not mean that provider is good at doing it. In fact, in the healthcare system, it's quite the opposite. Often, the best providers charge a lower or fair amount. Why? Because they're good at what they do. Worse yet, your employees actually don't get to see the price or quality. And I would show a graph illustrating this. And then the last problem you have, which is probably the biggest problem, and at this point I'd pull out my medical ID card from my wallet and say, do you know what this is? And they'd say, yeah, it's a medical ID card. I say, exactly. It's what you and I see. But every year you hand this out, your employees see an unlimited company credit card, because as long as they stay in the PPO network, they can go wherever they want and spend whatever they want. So if the health insurance companies, their goals aren't aligned with yours, the healthcare system's goals are not aligned with yours, and your employees are running around with these unlimited company credit cards, how in the world are you going to build a great plan that doesn't cost an arm and a leg? In fact, because of this, you have been taught one of 3 ways to control your health insurance costs. Enter failure. This is the failure part of the story. Number 1, you've been taught to shop carriers every year. 2, you've been told that the best way to control cost is to raise deductibles and out-of-pockets. And 3, you've been taught how to just ask employees to pay more. At that point, if the prospect is still looking at me like, I don't quite get it, Andy, I knew they were not a good fit. I made it so clear to you. I even had slides visualizing how clear this is. If you don't get it, time to move on. No harm, no foul. But if you're shaking your head up and down, you're nodding up and down, and I can see you're almost kind of angry, I know you're going to be a good fit. Now, at this point, I was delivering my solution. Here's the process we use to help you fix this problem. My process would have a name, hint, hint, name your process. And then I would show a case study of a client who has actually done it. At the end of the presentation, if they were a good fit, they'd be saying, we want that. How do we get what your client has right there?
I bet you folks don't have one of these.
I want that.
Perfect. Now I know I have an engaged prospect who wants to know how my client got the results they're getting. And I know this is probably a first meeting that is going to turn into a second date. So if you follow the formula I just shared, all I said to the prospect is our typical client has this goal, but they have these problems that are keeping them from achieving the goal. Therefore, today, here's what failure looks like in their life. We have a solution, a process to fix it. And here's a destination that you can have. Look at what one of our clients is doing. Once I started incorporating that story, that message into my first meetings, everything changed. Yeah, I detracted a lot of people, but they weren't going to buy from me anyways. I saved my time and I saved their time. I was no longer pushing people so hard. Yeah, you're not going to eliminate ghosting forever, but I can guarantee you're going to have better conversations with better prospects. This is how you start winning more with less in your pipeline, because every single prospect is high quality. So that's my advice for you today. I hope that helps. So what I ask you to do, go back and listen to the last 3-4 minutes I just delivered the presentation. Listen to it a few times. If you're one of my benefit advisors, replicate, copy what I just said, make it your own. But at the end of the day, you got to have a better strategy to qualify and disqualify your prospects as quickly as you can. So you're not trying so dang hard to push an unqualified prospect through the pipeline who has no desire of working with you. I've been there far too often. It sucks. Like I said, it leads to frustration and financial success, or financial failure, not financial success. I'd much rather talk to fewer people, but make each one better. I don't know about you. I know it goes against the grain, what this industry has been taught. Not every prospect is a good prospect, but remember, you just need 4, 5, 6 wins this year to have an amazing year. Not everybody's a good fit, nor should they be. So take what you learned today. I hope it gave you a little clarity. Now that you mix it with some confidence and go out and do it consistently, you will become unstoppable. And that is the ultimate goal. Those who take what they learn and apply it consistently will go out and create an unstoppable sales machine. I hope it happens for you, because your sales goals will thank you. Be well.